Some films stick around, others just kinda fade away. Not because they were hated or controversial or anything like that. Sometimes it's way more complicated, like something that meant a lot when it was made, but doesn't feel right to keep up anymore. That's what happened here. This is the story of GoreFront, the GoreBox film you'll never get to see again. And no, it's not some lost media mystery or part of some big drama. It didn't get taken down by YouTube. There's no hidden playlist link. It's just gone. Because I made it disappear. But to understand GoreFront, we gotta go back, way back, to where it all started. Gory or Not didn't begin as this whack, absurd, and ridiculous series. The earliest version of it was supposed to be something more grounded, something inspired by the game Ready or Not.
323 to 584.
Get down and put your hands up! I'm giving up! Put your hands up and get down!
It was supposed to be tactical. You know, breaching doors, clearing rooms, saving hostages, all that stuff. That lasted for about one episode. Because by the time episode 2 dropped, I had completely gotten carried away.
Having a good time, I'm a shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm gonna go, there's no stopping me. I'm running through the sky, 200 degrees, just like they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling with the speed of light.
The series took a wild turn and morphed into something else entirely. A hybrid of Max Payne's action, Trepang 2's chaos, the supernatural tension of fear, and the psychological breakdown of Spec Ops, The Line. It was never meant to be that way. It just happened. It's like the more I kept making it, the more it just spiraled out of control. In a good way, but still, it was no longer just a series. It became a mess of influences, ideas, and random stuff that somehow stuck together. Gory or Not officially released as a full-merged series film on August 4th, 2024. But its roots go deeper. The first concept trailer was all the way back on May 6th. Episode 1 dropped June 8th. That's when it all started.
And a search for the suspect began from the remaining police departments. We urge everyone in the Northern Remnant to remain calm and follow official instructions.
The story followed Marcus Reynolds, a former SWAT officer from Canada who dipped out of the country and traveled to Sanguinvale Crescendo, or just Sanguinvale. This is where the lore gets absurd. It's basically an alternate version of America where independence never happened. Christopher Columbus named the region after spotting a blood-red river the locals called the River of Blood. Once there, Marcus gets dragged into the Sundown Forces 82, a task force run by a dude named Commander Ramirez, all backed and funded by SCI. They promise him big money in exchange for his service.
I am one of the people working at Sundown Forces 82. Welcome to Sundown Forces 82. We'll give you a location of one of our operation areas soon. See you in the deepest hell.
While working for them, Marcus discovers a group called the Independence Hooligan. sort of like insurgents, but also acting like drug cartels. They sell meth, they have connections to a mysterious scientist collective known as Steel Leaf, and they want to overthrow the current order of Sanguinevale. It's in episode 2 where Gory or Not starts going completely off the rails, in the best way.
Good time, don't stop me, don't stop me.
Marcus slaughters an entire hooligan compound in slow motion. The whole sequence plays like a dream. It's fast-paced, surreal, and strangely enjoyable? That's when I knew the tone had fully shifted. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Marcus meets Alexander Turner sometimes before, the guy who was acting as his command center in episode 1. They meet in person, and a friendship form. Later, the two go on missions together and learn about James Devon, the leader of the hooligans.
Who's there? Fuck! It's an ambush!
Meanwhile, Steel Leaf promotes a new tech called RCV2, a device capable of manipulating objects via energy pulses. But just when Marcus thinks he's finally going to get paid and leave, Ramirez betrays him. It was all a setup. The reward was fake.
This is bullshit. What the fuck?
Marcus tries to escape back to Canada, only to find out Canada is pillaging Sanguinevale. Apparently, invading this weird fuckery land is an international tradition now. Marcus ends up having to fight his own countrymen. It's a mess. He's eventually captured by the hooligan, and now starts doing jobs for James Devon.
So, here's a briefing for your first mission, Marcus.
This time, for real money. His job? Kill Sundown Force's 82 members and eliminate certain government figures. One of these missions includes assassinating a politician who's suspiciously talking about a zombie outbreak.
Shit!
Oh, and we gotta talk about that scene where Marcus and Alexander going full war crime mode with flamethrowers, torching an entire squad of Sundown Force's 82 while Paint It Black blasts in the background.
Good evening. We interrupt our regular programming to bring you a critical update. Reports are spreading about a severe outbreak of what has been officially classified as mutants in the Sanguinevale Crescendo region.
A doctor later examines Marcus and finds out his slow-motion ability comes from a mix of heavy caffeine abuse and polluted algae water. But it's also tied to a rare condition, an adrenaline-based tumor. He's dying. Then, of course, the zombie outbreak actually begins. Alexander, overwhelmed and disillusioned, decides to leave. Marcus is left alone again. Marcus uses what little time he has left to go full nuclear. He kills Ramirez.
See you in the depths of hell, Commander.
Raids Steel Leaf and goes after Devon. Devon, by the way, has this absurd one-punch ability. Dude can literally knock someone out of existence.
Starting with you.
Wait, Mr. Devon, we can fix this.
But Marcus survives, probably out of pure adrenaline. In a final boss fight, Marcus uses the RCV2 to grab a mutant syringe, injects Devon with it, weakens him, and ends it with a final kill shot. Devin's dead. Marcus? He dies shortly after. That was Gory or Not. Another important thing that sets Gory or Not and GoreFront apart from my other projects, like Stockbox or the Unkoha discs, is who helped make them. While those newer entries were solo-made or created under my group Serenize Studios, Gory or Not and GoreFront were a different story. These weren't just mine. They were created in collaboration with Number Productions, a team run by Mr. 96 and Ballcat, the guy behind Escape from GoreBox. Now that you know Gory or Not's story, let's talk about the main topic of this video and why you're here. This is GoreFront. Set 2 years after Marcus's death in 2028. It follows Vulture, a cold, calculating assassin working for SCI. He's not emotional. He barely questions orders. His job is to execute targets, no questions asked. SCI was designed to be like this universe version of the CIA. Covert ops, controlled missions, a mechanical tone. But there's something weird about Vulture right from the start. His missions are always just killing, and more importantly, he's detached, almost like he's been stripped of any sense of humanity. Vulture's kill list is weird too. Each target has a name that's not really a name, more like an emotion.
All right, Vulture, we've got a new target for you. Goes by the name Andreas McCreary, but his buddies call him Shock.
So, who is it this time?
Your target goes by the name Disorientation these days. You know the drill, Vulture. We need that intel, and we need it fast.
Intel on Outrage. What makes this one so important? Well, he won't be blaming anyone anymore.
No shit. He's fucking dead. But that leaves us with another problem. Despair. Vulture, that's not despair. That's resentment.
You'll find clarity. The answers you've been searching for.
Yeah, it's the stages of grief, but one is missing, and I will explain why soon. Then things start getting strange. Vulture begins hearing a woman's voice in his earpiece. Not like a teammate or handler, just a voice. Sometimes she talks in riddles, sometimes she questions him, sometimes she just listens.
Vulture, can you hear me?
Who the hell is this? You're not on my comms.
At one point in the film, Vulture actually meets Marcus Reynolds. Yeah, the guy who literally died at the end of Gory or Not. Who the hell? And at first you're thinking, is this a hallucination? A dream? Some weird mind game? The whole story of GoreFront is just mindless targets killings, so we'll skip into the important parts. There's a scene where Vulture finally gets answers from a rogue doctor, a former Steel Leaf scientist who reveals everything. So who is this mysterious woman who talks to Vulture? Turns out, she's a part of his consciousness. a mental construct left behind by a scientist group from Gory or Not called Steel Leaf, with help from the Independence hooligan. They're anti-SCI, anti-authority. Turns out, Vulture's not really Vulture. His real name is Alexander Turner, a guy who was close to Marcus Reynolds, the Gory or Not protagonist. Alexander tried to escape the Sanguinevale region but wrecked in the desert. Steel Leaf found him, tried to fix him, gave him that voice to keep him mentally stable. Then they got wiped out. The woman voice in Vulture's head? She's not the only voice in there. SCI also added Marcus Reynolds' consciousness, ripped straight from his corpse back in Gory or Not. They used it like bait, as a fake friend, manipulating Vulture into believing he's doing the right thing. So what you're left with is this deeply brainwashed soldier being pulled in two completely opposite directions. One by Steel Leaf, one by SCI. And just to make things worse, he keeps seeing something. A creature. A shadowy, half-seen mutant. It doesn't speak. It just watches. And you don't know what it is. Until you do. During an early mission for SCI, Vulture was injured. Badly. A mutant, the prototype of the virus from Gory or Not, bit him across the face. The infection didn't spread like a zombie virus. Instead, it stuck. Created hallucinations. That's why he always wears the mask. After Vulture kills the mutant in a final confrontation, the last remnant of that original trauma, he finally removes the mask. And when he does, we see Alexander's face, the face of a man who lost everything, who forgot everything, and now, who finally remembers. And it's short-lived, because it happens right before he dies. In the final act of GoreFront, Scott Grayson, the smug, cold-blooded bastard leading SCI, finally reveals his master plan. He's done with control, done with experiments. He wants to wipe the slate clean. So he gives the order, bomb Sanguinevale. Not with nukes, not with fire, but with gas missiles, chemically engineered to kill anyone who isn't part of SCI. That's it. That's genocide. Before that, though, Vulture finally gets betrayed, like we didn't see it coming. SCI tries to kill him, erase him, but he escapes. Barely. Wounded, paranoid, and full of rage, he tries to stop the missile launch and fails. Independence hooligan, gone. Steel Leaf scientists, dead. Civilians, friends, enemies, doesn't matter. All wiped out in a cold, clinical massacre. Only SCI agents survive. Vulture survived. But it doesn't matter. Because Vulture, he breaks. He's alone now, completely. Survivor's guilt tearing him apart. Because what's the point in fighting when you're fighting an entire machine?
Stop.
But then,
This isn't
the voice,
Don't let them win.
her voice,
Already won.
the consciousness from Steel Leaf, the woman who's been guiding him, stops him, reminds him that he can still act, that if he's alive, there's still something left to destroy. So he finds a way back in. Vulture storms SCI's control tower. One last shot, one final push. He reroutes the gas missile systems, changing the parameters. This time, they'll target only SCI personnel. All of them, erased. But Grayson? Somehow, he's excluded from the system. So now the region is empty. Only Vulture and Grayson remain. All of Vulture's targets mirror the stages of grief, except one. Acceptance. The one stage Vulture never gets to. Vulture never finds acceptance, and that's why the film ends the way it does. In the finale, Vulture finally kills Grayson, the SCI handler who used him as a weapon. It's a mid-air shot. Both men fall off a cliff. Symbolic, ironic, poetic even. Because that's how grief works when you don't heal. You crash, you burn, you fall.
So, why did I delete GoreFront? Well, I didn't. I just privated it because it wasn't made for you. It was something I made because I had to. I don't want to get deep into the why, but let's just say there was a lot on my mind when I made it. Some stuff I couldn't express directly, but could work through in characters, scenes, and weird internal monologues. It was personal. Way too personal. And looking back, I didn't want anyone rewatching it and going, yo, this hits hard, because they'd be hitting something I didn't really want them to touch. Also, I rushed it. A lot of it. The pacing, the writing, the edits. Some of it was solid, but it was just mid. Still, there was beauty in it, especially in the final act. And in the visuals. That's where GoreFront came from. Not from a script, from a place I wasn't really proud of. A place I don't feel connected to anymore. And once I didn't need it, once I moved past it, the film didn't make sense to keep up. GoreFront was made not for my audience, but because I needed to. And since that need is gone, so is the film. There wasn't a big announcement, no dramatic final message. I just looked at it one day and went, yeah, that chapter's over. Sometimes stories are temporary, and that's okay. Sometimes you feel like you're the only one in the world. Like you're stuck in a quiet room that just keeps getting quieter and no one's coming in. You look around and it feels like everyone else has it figured out. Like they're moving forward and you're still just there, waiting. Wondering if it all means anything. That's what loneliness does. It makes you question everything. Yourself, your worth, your past, your future, and it hurts. Even if you don't talk about it. But you're not broken. You're not weak. You're human. And being human means feeling things deeply. It means carrying questions you might never get answers to. It means trying to find meaning in a world that doesn't always give it to you. But still, you try. You keep going. And that matters more than you think. Because even if you feel like you're not being seen, your action still matters. The things you create, the words you say, even just surviving on your hardest days, all of that means something. You don't have to change the world. You don't have to be remembered forever. But maybe something you did will make someone else feel less alone. Maybe they'll see your story, your art, your effort, and it'll remind them they're not the only one who ever felt lost. And that's enough. That's why we leave things behind. Because even in all the darkness, there's still a chance someone will see your light. Even if it flickers, even if it fades, it still mattered. And so did you.